like shoes.
I learned this from Isaac. All your years is these shoes. So this is Steve's first time having a cider. So so we can do that first, baby. We already on that. You tell me as a experienced cider person, what you get smell wise, taste wise.
What do you put in this?
You know the goods already.
It's actually great. I like how spicy it is. It's like fruity.
That's it. I did that today. But for a long time, I said that I wanted, because I love the sweet hot combination, but you have to get it right. So when I was doing it, all I would get was like dry products, and it wouldn't really hit how I wanted it to. So I had to find like what's going to be that hot agent. Is it going to be like maybe some type of different type of pepper, whole, and then I chop it up, or am I going to get it dried? And are people even going to like it?
It's great.
So it's almost like you might be creative with the cider, but people kind of are stuck to their traditions.
It's actually really, really freaking delicious.
And I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too hot. Because what I learned, like, it's not so much the pepper itself all the time, it's the seeds.
Mm-hmm. It is the seeds, yeah. I love like the orange pulp in this.
So yeah, my always consistent agent is oranges. Now, how I choose to pair the oranges with whatever else I put in there, there's always oranges in that. Just trying to kind of make like a signature apple cider, so it won't be like any other, and it kind of maybe make people excited about maybe we should kind of push that.
You sell this? You sell this?
I need to talk about that business part. Like right now, it's just more of a trying to brand it, let people know that I have the cider, have them taste it. But a lot of people were saying like you should put this in a bottle, or you should try to figure out how to make it a mixer.
Yeah, you can have a couple issues making it into a bottle though, because like you have like the fresh oranges and like the fresh seeds.
Shelf life.
Shelf life, pasteurization, and it's gonna go bad. Because like you get a bottle of something, right, and you expect it to be on the shelf for like at least a week. Mm-hmm. You can try that one, see how it is, but when you start making like 100 bottles or like 200 bottles a week,
right,
the likelihood of someone getting sick off the product like goes up. Because this was something like we deal with too, right? As like a food business, like the more you make, the stricter your quality control has to be. When you're at home, you're cooking food, it's like, I'm cooking this for my mom, like, whatever, right? But when you're cooking food for like hundreds of people, this is a totally different game. But I mean, based off the quality alone, like this is good. It's a whole game.
Why do you like it? I mean, you've had other ciders, but what about this one?
Well, I'm just like pleasantly surprised. I like the spiciness. Remember the first time you had a spicy drink?
No.
I remember the first time I had a spicy drink. It was terrible. I was like, this is garbage. Why would someone do this to like the beverage?
But it was like too hot?
Yeah, it was like too hot. It was weird. The first time I had it was like a ginger beverage, right? And they went to town on the ginger. So I was like, what is
That's
this?
another one that is a dominating taste as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you kind of got to be scientific with the ginger and the spice.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't be like, all we get is ginger and spice.
Yeah.
Whatever you're trying to do, that's no longer there. All I taste is the ingredients.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it. And so if me keeping it, I guess, what they would say, they call that more homemade or whatever the word for a custom drink. This would probably be more for tasting or showcasing for people to taste it before it's like packaging it. I would probably have to figure out how to pasteurize and dry out the products.
Yeah.
And hope that I don't lose the taste.
Well, what's your demographic? Like, who you're aiming towards? Like, are you aiming towards people of color, or just like you want to sell to everybody?
Pretty much anybody. Like greenbacks. That's it. That's all greenbacks.
So one of the issues would be when people buy a product off the shelves, they're like kind of like they don't want to do too much to it. Like that's why, like mac and cheese is like so successful because it's like, oh, just add milk, and like put it in a pot, and like that's just add milk, and then like you're good to go. So the easier you make it for the consumer, the more success you're gonna have. So if you sell your cider just a liquid in a bottle, you sell it to people, it's gonna be awesome. And then like on the back you can have ingredients like, hey, you know, put some oranges or put X, Y, and Z in this, like spice it up. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is you can just have the drinks in there as it is. But you made this. When did you make this? Today. Right, so it's awesome. But like, have you tried keeping it in that bottle for like a week and see how it tastes after a week?
No,
It's
because
a great experiment.
I think the temperature falls under a certain amount of hours. But I usually try to throw my cider out. The longest I might keep it in the refrigerator or keep pushing it from the same batch, 3 to 5 days.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
But I did worry about my cider is good by itself, but the more stuff I add, what about that shelf life? So it's gonna speed up the process. But I was like, well, I kind of don't like using, you know how people use like the flavoring or the syrups. I kind of feel like if you don't get the right one, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So I guess it's almost like it's going to be a toss-up in reference to like, what do I want to do with it? And if what I want to do with it requires for me to pasteurize and not do the more catered or special type of way of doing it, then I would just do it for if I'm trying to bring it to you and sell it and pitch it to you. But I kind of feel like, no, like this is how this is. You need to get this. This is a presentation.
Yeah.
But some people were saying like, what if you did it cold? Because typically I was going to do it just for the winter, from October to March, and then do something else as the seasons move. But they were like, people really have been like loving it because it turned into like cider conversation like right now, or just here's the cider, take the money, keep moving. But they were like, you should make it cold, and that could be probably like your spin on the half and half for the tea that Baltimore is notorious for, and you probably can cross market where certain demographics only know certain things, but you can kind of introduce them into this, or give them some creative ideas of how to do something so simple and jazz it up and make it your own. Where say it could be, this is all I have, and how am I going to make do with? Say if it's like I got an apple orchard, I know I'm writing an apple orchard, and it's like I already picked apples. How many ways can I make apples?
Yeah.
But this would be like, oh, eureka! Like I basically made this where it's like, oh, this is food and beverage. This is maybe going into like a club scene now. This is going into the wine festival thing now. It's taking up like a whole new identity rather than, okay, we're just gonna ship these apples here, make pies, make pastries, type of thing. We can kind of be the fun aspect of it.
It's awesome. And I think all of your ideas are great. But just like starting off doing this business, you gotta keep it simple, right? So you have the world's best apple cider, and you want to keep it perfect. Like you like it hot. You think this is the best way to have it.
I haven't tried to go yet.
This is freaking dope. And you just keep it simple. Like just start to put it on the internet. You can sell it out of your house. Right? Like kind of like what they do like with the box lunches, right? Like the Instagram chefs. They come to my house, pick up the shrimp Alfredo, it's like $20. I got you, just hit me up. Like shoot me a DM, come to my house. Shoot you a DM, show up to your location, pick this up. And just be consistent with it every day. You don't have to sell a lot every day. Just, if you're like, I just want to sell 20 cups, sell 20 cups. And then you're done at 10 a.m. and the rest of your day is free. You sell 20 cups, sold it out. And then those 20 people who bought those 20 cups of this amazing apple cider, it's all 20 more people.
Right.
And then it'll just kind of grow like that. But the first thing you gotta do is you gotta sell it first. Right? So marketing aside, I think your product can sell itself, just by how delicious it is. The only thing that's holding you back is you. So you just really gotta be like, I'm just gonna sell this, charge people for it. And yeah, like when Ekiben first started, we didn't have any customers. Like the first 6 months, it was like our moms. Like that was it. It was literally our moms. And then winter came in winter time, like there's no markets, right? Because it's too cold. and then everyone's talking about it, like, yeah, man, like, I want that sandwich. That sandwich is really dope. And then come the next year, like we almost gave up. We almost gave up the business because there was nobody for 6 months. And then we all decided, hey, we will start. We'll do like a whole year and see how it goes. And then day one of us opening, it just kind of blew up and boom. I mean, small to everyone talks. So you could sell it in the wintertime and then stop selling it during the spring, and I was like, damn. Remember Monique's apple cider? Like,
So it's like
bombs,
the
fire.
supplier demand anticipation.
Mm-hmm. And then come the next winter, yeah, it's probably gonna be busier.
So a whole new set of people that heard about it because it built.
Mm-hmm. But this is like a long term game. It's not like I'm gonna sell the cider and be rich tomorrow. No. You're talking about like a 10-year process, right? Like we are still improving our product today. Like we're still training people today.
Right.
Every day we come into work and say, how can we make our product better? Like what can we do to make the guest happier?
Sure.
How-
Customer service is everything.
Always. And it's easy when it's just you. And then there will come a point in time when you get so busy that you're like, I need someone else to help.
Right. I learned that let things flow where they may. Sometimes it's good to super over plan, but once you feel that okay, I'm taking on more than I can handle, now it's time. Versus I start out with 5 people, and it's like the up and down of business of okay, it's a seasonal item, so people only gonna come based off of it being cold, unless you kind of like how I said, chill it and figure out how it does on the alternative. And if it doesn't, I know that the strong point is when it's cold. So they love it when it's hot. They're not really too much of a fan when it's cold, or either certain people like it cold, but most people kind of like it hot. But all of that is still the experimental part of the business, where it could be, could not. It's no guarantees type stuff. But that's reroute and kind of going to lead you to booty form. And I usually
Maybe I should sit here.
yeah, I usually have like chocolate spoon too.
What? Chocolate spoons.
So it's like another ingredient to figure out like, okay, I like it with the extra ingredient, and like how I said, it's usually the oranges or the cider. I mean, oranges or even the chocolate that I'll use in the cider. So, and it's kind of like a creative little additive, but it's like, oh, I got chocolate spoons. So it's almost like bringing excitement to, or the detail in the product. So it's not just here, where it's like, oh, I'm not really showing any interest or care or enthusiasm about my product, but I'm expecting you to, type thing. So I wrote some questions down. So I started with, did you know while attending UMBC? Did you know while attending UMBC that you were going to the restaurant industry?
Yes and no. I think when people are like in their teens or like early 20s, everyone's kind of lost, or they don't really know what they want to do with their lives, right? Like Instagram, Facebook, like our phones, our friends, there's so much noise in the world that pulls you every which way. In college, I wanted to be a professor, or I wanted to be an economist, I wanted to be a lawyer, but I knew that whatever route I took would always take me back here, because this is what I loved. Yeah, I love food, and I just love restaurants. Not so much food, just I love going to restaurants. And being like 45, like probably a kid, right? You got bills to pay, you got mouths to feed. Opening up restaurants is the worst idea. I mean, the profit margin on restaurants are notoriously super low.
In the beginning, or just in general?
Just in general. It's always been really low. It's been there's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of people. I mean, as a consumer or as a guest, you don't really see that, right? It's like theater. You walk into space, you're like, oh, this is awesome. You eat your food and you leave. But back in the house, back in the scenes, it's like insane. It's like watching a movie. You see the credits, you see like the 30 actors, and then there's like 40 minutes of credits at the end because all these people put in work to make this movie happen. Same thing with the restaurant. You probably see like 4 people in front, but in the back there's like tons and tons of people.
So I get it, like, the movie might be great, but if you really knew the blueprint of how they had to shop around the movie, account for budget, lose money on the budget, lose actors not really being, interested or being committed, location, funds, all that went into actually pushing that finished product out. You just got the end, you didn't get the beginning.
Okay.
So when you say that you love restaurants, would you have been like, you love restaurants like food blogging? Like I love restaurants, or I just love to see how people come up with, how people recreate the wheel every time. Like restaurant is restaurant, but everybody does restaurant different.
I love just going to them. I don't really like blogging about it. I'm not the best writer in the world. But I like seeing how each different restaurant makes the person feel, whether it's the service or the food, the ambiance. And like, I enjoy going to good and bad restaurants. I mean, now bad restaurants kind of like piss me off. Like, you haven't asked me for a water for 30 minutes, you can't get me some water.
Okay.
But that's just, just like over time, as you get older, you kind of don't want to deal with as much shit. Let me say hi real quick. Sorry. How you doing, man?
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, it's so good to see you.
I was quickly like, let's see what's going on my shit tonight. What's up, fucking Steve? Look at this shit. Congratulations.
Thank you, I see you. Sorry.
Customer service.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
What's that? Customer service. Like that's one thing that I noticed in here. Like it's a small space, but a lot of magic happens here. But as soon as you dock the door, you're taken care of. It's hello, how are you? But it's not like okay, I'm just going to line up behind everybody else. Want to do ever gonna make eye contact with me? Nobody's asking hello. Like as soon as the door cracks and they hear the thing beep, it's hello, how are you? Give us a second, we're with you, or whatever the pitch is, or the certain people, I don't know, you choose whoever has a certain personality to be up front, but I think, is it Marine?
Who?
He's in the army in some way.
Joe.
Yeah, that's
Asian kid, right? The Asian kid's Joe, right?
He's awesome. Like he's such a light, such energy. It's almost like he knows just what to say to every customer. And I know it's almost like if I feel comfortable, then the things that I'm uncomfortable about really don't matter to me anymore. Whether it be it that it's a line out the door, but be it that they're constantly keep talking to me and letting me know that they notice me and acknowledge me and that they'll be with me, as quick as they can, It's almost like, okay, I'll wait a little longer. I'll give them 5 more minutes versus it's a line out the door, nobody's spoken, it's so noisy, it's so crowded. Where it's like, okay, I'll just leave or go to whatever's close right here, type of thing. So it's almost like you take care of the individual customer, every customer.
Correct.
When in reality it's not really realistic to do that, but I think the space probably works for you being able to eyeball everybody that's in this area right here. So that's the one thing that I definitely commend you on. I don't know if it's just like the people that you work with want to allow this place to succeed, so they take on the ownership individually, like it's theirs as well. So it's not, okay, I'm busy, they see it's crowded, it is what it is. It's like, no, every customer in here equates to this business staying here, and whatever this business means to me, if this business fails, I'm a part of the success or the failure of it. So it's my responsibility whether Steve's here or if I'm just the prep person or the dishwasher type of thing.
Yeah.
What roadblocks did you hit trying to build and how did you get through them?
The biggest roadblocks are always going to be like yourself. Someone told me that like you're alive, but your problems aren't living. It's like your problems are just like fixated there, and it's up to you and using your brain to like move around your problems. And that being said, like that's really the major roadblock is yourself. Sometimes it's like I'm tired, sometimes I'm feeling kind of lazy, and so I like having that discipline to get up and be like, I can't be tired, I can't be lazy. And when we started this business, it was not taking no for an answer.
What, like,
The city, the contractors, the like everybody. And it's one thing to be like, no, I'm not taking no for an answer. You can't approach things like that.
Right.
You know, it's someone says no, then you need to find a creative solution to that no. And ultimately, it's everyone's a human being. It's kind of like what you were talking about with the customer service, and like we just hire people who understand that everyone, like nobody's perfect. So you have a customer that's like not having the best day. It's about like being understanding. Be like, hey, I hope you have a nice day. Like, I'm sorry you had a rough day, but have a chicken sandwich. Have a better day after that, you know.
sure. You said you make sure that you didn't take a no, so it's almost, how come? So you change that no into how come, versus being stopped by the no's and the consistency of no. Like, okay, why is it taking so long for the city to give me that permit? Why is that permit so so tough to obtain? How do I get it up to code? What do I have to take out? What do I have to invest in? Why isn't this location ideal for my idea?
Yeah.
So basically, try to break that no up if you can, versus seeing that no as like a stop sign.
Yeah, no's are definitely not stop signs. The best way to get around the no is ask the person, well, what do I need to do for you to say yes? And oftentimes they'll tell you a couple things. Do this couple things, you'll go back and they'll tell you a couple more things. But it's easy to be frustrated, and so like give that person attitude and be like, hey, I just did what you told me to do, now you want me to do more things. It's really important to understand that everyone has emotions, especially like ourselves, and you have to be able to understand how you're feeling at any given time and being able to swallow your emotions and be like, okay, well, I'll do whatever you told me to do again. And keep on doing it until they get tired of seeing you and they go, alright, well, I give you whatever.
So you, take control of the situation if that's a possibility, but also learn from what's happening and try not to take everything personal.
Nothing's ever personal. Nothing. Like business is business. It's never personal. I mean, unless they say something about like your mom, and like that's probably personal. But other than that, business is business. They're not saying no to you because of like your skin color or whatever. They're saying no because the answer is no.
What product bombed first?
What do you mean?
Like, it could be like, we really wanted to do the chicken sandwich, but we didn't get it right. We didn't fry it right because we didn't understand that this was a thicker piece of the meat, and it kept coming out undone, or we didn't come out the flavor we wanted, or we had an idea for a fusion in reference to like everybody's culture, who's the owners of but it didn't taste right. Like the idea was great, but it didn't taste right. Like, what product bombed first?
We test things all the time before we bring it out to the public. So in that essence, everything has bombed. Everything has bombed, but the guest has not had the misfortune of tasting the bombs. Like we try to fix those problems before we bring it out to the public.
So it's almost like y'all might do a taste test within the employees before you put it out.
Yeah, like friends, ourselves, like family. Yeah, some employees. I mean, employees. But it's hard to taste test with your coworkers when they're like, if I say something wrong, like my boss is gonna be mad at me. So it's easier to like ask your friends or people who are like they will definitely give me like a straightforward answer. I mean, I know if my chef or like my boss was like, how's this taste? And I put it in my mouth and it was like a bomb, I'd be like, should I tell them that it's a bomb, or like what should I do? And I never want to put people in that situation. So I'll let them taste it, just taste it, and then whatever they tell me, just thanks.
So it's almost quality control all the time. Is that something that you started with and you plan to continue? Like, I'm always going to try my products out rather than just throwing them out.
You always have to quality check your product. I mean, when like Ford started making cars, even though when Toyota makes cars now, like they quality check every vehicle. Like you have to quality check every item that comes out. It's very important. That's how you get that consistency. If you don't quality check your product, you're gonna have an inconsistent product. It's just not good. Just because people are lining out the door doesn't mean you're making money. That's like people lining out the door is another risk of you losing another customer.
Any other ideas got canned that you and the team, or that you in general felt like this should be a sure thing?
I'm never that confident. Never that confident. Nothing's ever a sure thing. Everything has its risks, and nothing's ever guaranteed.
So is that a mindset that you've adapted and it happens to work because it led as a business, or that's something you picked up to make sure that you kind of can survive the up and downs of business?
And I think
Next thing. That's quality control right there. What's that noise? Why is it making that? Not starting.
it's clearing something. I'm sorry, what was the question?
What else? Yeah. Were there any other products or ideas that like, man, no, I can't answer that. Man, see, Steve got my stuff. You said nothing's a sure thing. Yeah, and I was like, is that a state of thinking that you already have and it happened to bleed into business, or you picked it up to make sure business is successful for you?
I think that's like something you learn in life, right? You're like, oh, I'm gonna get my driver's license, and you don't get your driver's license. I mean, it's like a natural law. I think like nothing's ever guaranteed. You know, like tomorrow's not guaranteed. Right? Like, you know, water running in your house is not guaranteed. Electricity is not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed for a computer to work. I mean, how often have you been disappointed at something that should have worked that didn't work? It happens all the time. So to have this like very naive mindset of like, oh, this has gotta work. It's like, no, it probably won't work. But you gotta do your due diligence. You gotta do all of your work to make sure that this thing works. You have to like mitigate all the risks. You think a lot about it, and you have to make sure you cross all your X's and like, you know, you have to make sure it's a foolproof idea, and all you can do is give it 100% and then cross your fingers and be like, all right, let's see how this works. But it's never guaranteed. Nothing's ever guaranteed.
What traditions does Ekiben stay true to? Like that could be culturally, oaths to secure professionalism, or things along that line.
We believe that everyone who works at Ekiben, like, so a lot of, I see like a lot of companies, they're like, hey, you will come work for us, and then when you leave, you're gone. But for us, it's like, you can come work for us, and our job is to make sure like you're better people when you leave. Not just like, oh, you learn how to cook something, but like you're actually like a more intelligent person. Like you have better financial knowledge, or like, you know, you learn how to speak another language. Just be the people who leave here, we want them to be better people than they were when they came in these doors.
So it's like an investment incubator type of company.
I don't know, I just think that like, I don't want to say that, I would just say like we're like a people-based company. We just want people to be better people when we leave. It's very simple. Yeah, everyone has different goals. Some people want to be better business people, some people want to be better chefs, and some people are like, I need a job. And over time we get to know them, and we know like what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they need help at, and if they need help in anything, it doesn't matter. Transportation, student debt, or whatever, like we're there to help.
Well, I think that's what separates your company from other companies, just by you saying that, us listening to that, and knowing through experience from being employees that every company doesn't take on that motto and doesn't care to practice the, I guess, the traditions or even just the ethics that your company does. And I feel like the ethics that your company has is going to allow it to be successful just because of those things. That's something I didn't know. And it makes me feel even better that, you know, it's here.
Yeah.
Is everybody on your team like first generation Americans? And how has that transition been thus far?
No, we have like everybody. I mean, our team is very diverse. We have a lot of first generation Americans, and we have like Isaac. His family's probably been here for a while. We hired. We got like black, white, Asian, Hispanic. Like we got everyone of all sorts of races and countries. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all just like one people. Like everyone bleeds red. We're all human beings. We all like the same things. I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna love the cider. You know, everyone likes to laugh. Like it's.
Well, shoot. How about you? Do you where are you from? And do you travel back and forth?
So my parents are from Taiwan. My dad's side of the family lost the war in China, so they immigrated to Taiwan. My mom's family is like Taiwan natives. And I was born in Towson or something like that. I was like born up north somewhere, and I moved around a lot, and then ended up settling in like Gaithersburg, which is like Montgomery County. And I went to college in Baltimore, and honestly, I wasn't like the biggest fan. Like all my friends on the weekends would go to like Fed Hill. And it's like this is like every college campus ever. Like everyone's just like drinking a lot of tequila, like bad liquor, getting trashed. And then one day I stumbled upon this neighborhood and I loved it. I was like by the water. There's like very calming effect, you know, like of the cobblestone and all that. Like I loved it, and I was like, I want to live here one day. Now I live here. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
In
Living
two
the
ways.
dream.
In 2 ways. I only got 3 more questions. How important are
Can I have some more cider?
yes? How important are your cultural connections, and how do you incorporate them into the menu and team dynamic?
Do you want some more? So I mean, everyone here comes from different backgrounds. I'm like, Ephraim's from Ethiopia, Nikhil's from India. And so like I try to take.
Try to retract this phone.
Hell yeah.
The bottom's messed up.
And so we.
Chocolate spoons.
They're great. I like a dark chocolate.
I learned that every chocolate it's not the same. You really gotta know what you're looking for and what company's the chocolate.
Yeah, I mean you have to like quality taste test. I remember a story from Five Guys owner and founder, and they hired like a purchasing manager, like down the road, and they were buying this mayonnaise from this company up in New York, but the person they were buying from was like a pain in the ass, and the Ekiben. Oh, we're actually close to Sundays. The purchasing manager was like, I don't want to buy this mayonnaise from this dude. He's an asshole. And no one could tell the difference between all the mayonnaises out there. And they were like, no, it's false. Like, we can taste the difference. He's like, I'll prove to you that you can't taste the difference. So we probably bought like 12 different brands of mayonnaise, and everyone was blindfolded, and everyone just put a spoonful in their mouth, and everyone had to choose which one was the best one. And they all chose the same one, and the purchasing manager was like dumbfounded. Like not one single person picked a different kind. Everyone picked the same kind of mayonnaise. So I mean, it's like, yeah, it's all called like chocolate spoon. But you have like different grades of chocolate, different qualities, different percentages of cocoa, and you get like 80% chocolate, 70% chocolate. And you want to think that 80% chocolate would be delicious, but it's like,
No.
like, yo, where's your sugar?
Yep, I learned it's almost like the darker the chocolate, the blander it gets.
Mm-hmm. The more bitter it is.
Well, yeah, versus.
You know?
Sounds like tart, super tart.
Yeah, it does get tart. And you're confused, you're like, what?
Like, and then you shift all the way over to like no chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, back to your question.
Yeah. How important are cultural connections and how you incorporate them into the menu and the team dynamic?
So like we don't really believe in like tradition. We just believe good food tastes like good food. So we take really awesome ingredients or different like cooking techniques and kind of blend them together to make our food. I mean, a lot of chefs are like, hey, we want to do tradition. Like, this is the way it's done. It's been done for like 1,000 years. This is how I want to do it. Or like, oh, this is like the way my aunt did it. This is the way I'm going to do it. And it's like, times change, technology's changed, people get better. I mean, use other techniques, use different ingredients, like make this one product better. If the like previous 9 generations made this product the same, you should. There's no such thing as a perfect product. So you gotta just keep on working on it and making it better and better and better. You have to push the boundaries all the time.
Or even the on the affirmative, just because it is perfect doesn't mean it could be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it may be the not knowing or even the fear. Like, no, everything's great, I don't want to touch it, then it turns from perfect to awful type of thing. But I feel like in the experiment and then just pushing yourself and tearing the ceiling down is a whole bunch of new that you don't know. And a whole bunch of opportunity, probably like the money goes up, the reach is even further, and I feel like when you do things the same way, it can get trapped in the complacency in a way.
Yeah.
You might not see it for long that it's complacency, but it's still the same.
And when you see it, it's too late. It's way good to it's way too late. Yeah, right. It's like building that mindset of like I have to improve constantly, all the time, not get lazy.
How is Ekiben? Am I saying that?
Yeah.
Ekiben shape the community around it.
I don't know. You have to ask the community.
Don't do that. Well, I can say that you take on the youth in the community around you.
Yeah.
So that's a great way, because most people just come and plant themselves and rape the community, and that's it.
That's terrible.
But with you, whether it be youth works or young people that might come in here randomly, you take them on, give them a chance, or if they don't have it, you'll make sure that they get something.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it something that you can do to earn that type of thing? So that's how I can feel that in for you. Why did you choose to let me bring Isaac in? Because I remember you saying like you had one before and it didn't work out, and you kind of like not interested. But what about whatever I said made you change your mind?
I think in the beginning, the conversation was like, hey, I have this food program, would you like to help? And then that turned into, I got these kids who want to work, do you want to take them on? And I was like, yeah, we'll take on these kids. I mean, we think giving back to the community is huge. Like, helping the youth is huge. Right? If we want Baltimore to become a better city, it starts with the next generation. It starts with the youth. Right? Like those kids are going to be the future entrepreneurs. They're going to be your future doctors, lawyers. I mean, whatever. Like they are going to be the next generation. And it's important to teach them like really, really good lessons and give them an experience where they would not have otherwise. I mean, my mother's a teacher, so like I always thought it was really important. I mean, Ephraim's he's like an Orthodox Christian, like he totally believes in giving back to the community as well. But like Isaac in particular, you know, why not? You know, he has a mentor and you vouched for him, and we see a lot more success with the youth when they have a strong foundation in terms of like where they have a mentor or like having parents that actively push them. It's very hard and it's very disheartening to see if they go home and there's a lot of issues at home. It's like really bad at home. It's hard for them to hold on to like their future because they need to take care of the present.
Right.
But to have someone like you, to have a mentor to pull them out of like the darkness and be like, no, you have to be back on this path. Like that's very huge. And I attribute a lot of Isaac's kind of success to you as well and his family. And I mean, he has a great family. And everyone loves him, and everyone's really like rooting for this kid. And that's why he's able to stay on his path. I'm sure there have been times where it's gotten very hard for Isaac. He doesn't want to stay on the path. That's because of people like you and people in his life that are like, no, you have to like go back and do this. That's why he's on the path that he is on now. I mean, he's gonna be a great kid. Like, I'm really excited to see where he's gonna be like 5-10 years from now.
He's gonna be a great man. I in my head was gonna ask you, but it really depends. I feel like I can't say because I'm not the person who creates destiny, but I do feel as if he didn't do the interning, probably wouldn't have the success that he's having because he wouldn't have to earn it. It would have been in limbo, like whatever. I'll come here if I come here, type of stuff. Like all of that was going on in the beginning. It would just been like, all right, you don't have a job. But I don't have a whole lot of patience for that. Like, if you don't see that this is important, you don't have a job. So if he didn't do the interning where he had to earn his spot, his position, he had to show you that he was capable and able to be given opportunity and responsibility and to earn his spot in the team. So that interning part, I feel like was the most vital part and the most concrete part and the necessary part, which I also feel like a lot of young people they don't earn it, and that's kind of why they lose it.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like they don't really respect it because they didn't have to do anything to keep it, and at any given moment they've done something to lose it. So it's almost like, well, I mean, they fired me, what I was supposed to do? When it's like, well, what happened? And then breaking it down and then asking them what accountability do you have in it? Was it you kept being late and it was like your lateness grew and they were like, look, you keep saying that you're going to be on time, or we keep trying to give you space and opportunity, but it's like, it seems like it goes from 15 minutes to 25 minutes to you called out, and it's like, we got a business to run. I mean, it's business. It's not personal, like how you said. This is how we have to maintain our business and the structure of our business, and at the same time, people do watch other people to be like, oh, you can do it, I'm doing it. Or maybe me letting you go can let you know, like, within this company, you can't do that. If you want to do that, go somewhere else. And then when you do go somewhere else and you see that they don't have any structure or they don't really have any expectation for you, you'll get to know, like, damn, they really was trying to, this job is kind of want me as an employee, they kind of wanted to open the door to make me family. But now it's a situation of, I don't want to go back because I'm embarrassed. So it's almost like, I feel like the interning part burns them, where you don't have to be embarrassed. You just have to go back and be honest and know that you did this, so this is what you have to do to erase it. They're not going to be looking for you to be late. They're not going to want to hear no excuse. You need to be, if that's the only thing that you can use use as leverage, then you need to be here 10 minutes before. You need to be the first one there and the last one leave. Or you need to be asking, is there any other opportunities for me to work? Even if I'm just going 2 days. Do you have any events that I can do or whatever? Where it's like, okay, he keeps trying to attach himself to us.
Yeah.
So maybe he's trying to show us another side or his capabilities type of thing. Even though we might not openly tell him we're like babysitting or nursing him, but we basically are like, okay, yeah, we'll take you on for that project or that event or let you come and do some overtime type of stuff. So I feel like that was maybe that should happen more with jobs, like the interning process, or yeah, the interning process should be with new workers.
I think the interning process works if they want to intern, right? I mean, I think it's big. But like, you're in a city, you know, where like people need jobs, like people need money. Like I don't feel like it's always a good thing. Like it depends on the person. For example, like Isaac is very particular because he came in at a certain age and he had no experience, and you were the one to advocate to him, the intern. Like if he didn't have you, he'd be like, nah, I want to get paid. And I get that's only right for me to get paid. But you were there like, no, you should take this internship. Like you should take this internship. Like he was like, okay, I'll take the internship. But not everyone has it or needs that. And that's where the challenge arises. You know, not everyone has that parent that is understanding to be like, yeah, get us an internship because it's good for you 5-10 years from now. Right? But if like people are hungry, it's like,
I need it now.
yeah, I need it now. And like I don't blame them. Like, yeah, you need it now. Yeah.
So it's like it depends.
Yeah, it's a give and take. But you
So
can look
like
at
I feel like young people should.
I mean, have you seen the I think it was called like Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith?
Yeah.
And like he needed the money now, right? But he decided to just take the internship because he knew that one day that internship would totally change his life. Not everyone has that mindset.
Yeah, and he ran into a bunch of brick walls. Like they were sending him to the ring. And he was like, all right, I'm just going to dial back and just come in that way.
Yeah.
Trying to come in hot, like, give me this. And they're like, what are you and what is this? So it's like, you haven't even settled up. And you're expecting things. You're asking, you're demanding things type of approach. So I kind of feel like for young people, yeah, you gotta learn how to speak. You gotta learn manners. Because manners will allow you to move in a sophisticated way through this market.
Yeah.
Whatever the career path is.
And then the easiest thing to do is just kind of keep your head down and just say yes. And like do. Well, first you need to find the best company you can work for, and then really believe in the company, and then just do whatever they tell you to do. Because if they are at where you want to be, like you're not at a point to give them like your opinion yet. You know what I'm saying? Like once you're there for a long time and you're able to gain everyone's respect, and you've learned their ways, then you can speak up. If something's like wrong that you think is inherently wrong, like why do they do it like this? Why don't they do it like that? You just don't see the bigger picture, right? But then once you learn their way, and you still believe that what they're doing is wrong, and it's like, hey, you should do it like this. Someone will listen to you.
So gaining leverage first.
Yeah.
Last question. What can we expect in 2019 as the community of consumers from Ekiben?
Just gotta show up.
So we gotta wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see. It's correct. Shoot.
Steve Chu, Ekiben, a restaurant, Eastern Avenue, Fells Point community, doing awesome things with people's palate, awesome things with mixing ingredients and food. I feel like it's culture and tradition too. Open to the community and allowing them to brew their ideas, gain footage, whether it be in the culinary aspect, customer service, making money, being in a learning, what do you call it? Team,
Team oriented.
like learning like the how to work as a team, or just be of service to a customer, or be of service to the community. Like there's a lot of aspects of what this restaurant does, and whoever comes in the door and whoever works here, what they gain from being a part of this restaurant. And I am appreciative, excited for all of the success that's come from coming in the door with Isaac first, pitching my idea and my program to you, to you being best in buns. It's always aligned. You getting articles printed, best of this, best of that, and seeing all your ideas manifest and doing great things within Baltimore City, and I feel like being next up in the city. So it was only right for me to double back and do an interview with you. Also, probably soft pitch you Cider. I don't know. I was in my head when I was interviewing you, like, this shit could go hella smooth, but why am I stumbling over the questions? Why shit is like stuck? It's not running smooth. But as I told another person who I interviewed, and they were like, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do that? And I was like, no. Oh, matter of fact, how I told you, I don't like doctored up interviews. I kind of like it to be raw and let it hang out, because somebody watching me wants to do this, but they're in their head about, oh, I don't have a Nikon, I don't have this person to hold the boomstick, I don't have this money, I don't know if somebody will say no or yeah. No, get your idea out, try, do, process type stuff. Like, I'm recording this one from, and this is me building relationships with people, knowing that I'm committed to what I say, I mean what I say, and then wanting to see me win, or wanting to be a part of a winning situation as well. So he said yes, like how I just said, like, he got a whole restaurant. He's doing this thing, and I come down here with my phone saying, can you be a part of my series? Can you be a part of the conversation? Sure, I'll open up, and after this interview, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, type stuff. Like, anything is possible when you're determined and you believe, and you gotta build your relationships where you've done something for people and they do something for you. So like reciprocity and keeping the energy going, and whatever it is that you want to do. Like how we said, sometimes your biggest defeat is you. Whether it be you wanted to do it but you said no, you gave all the excuses, or you gave all of the, you thought a whole situation out that didn't even happen and isn't even going to happen before you even allowed to, I don't know, like I feel like I'm getting lost in my words, but why I do what I do, how I do, is because I want somebody to see what I'm doing and take the initiative to do that. Whether it be how me and Isaac was out there, like, it's a problem. We didn't worry about what somebody was going to say, because it's almost like you're just mean-spirited if you're like, pack up all this food right here and you don't have a permit and you can't be feeding these kids. I was like, okay, so the kids are going hungry? That's cool? That's okay? Like, if you want us to have permits later, but right now, they're going to eat and go to school, and this is what's going to happen to them.
That happened?
It only happened one time when we were actually across the street from Isaac's house.
We can talk about this later. We can do something.
And I'm not jumping back into it. I'm not jumping back to it. But I do have a recreation center who really doesn't have like a food contract.
We have a catering permit. We take care of that.
That could use, a meal here and there. Or some young people who could use a job opportunity rather than, get in trouble. But again, I'm thankful to Steve for being who he is, investing in Baltimore City, investing in his community around his establishment, and being an awesome stand-up guy. And loving my fucking cider. So it's like, everybody keeps saying consistently that it's good, so it's almost like now it's on me to make it and move it into the direction that it has the capability to go. So I've got some work to do and some homework as well. And subscribe to my channel, Cider Conversation on YouTube, and come down to Ekiben. What's the address?
1622 Eastern Avenue.
And you got some rough hours for us?
It's on the internet. You can look it up.
Ekiben, Eastern Avenue, Fells Point area. Y'all got social media?
Yeah. Follow us at Ekiben Baltimore on everything. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, same thing.
That's it. Good people. Did I make time?